So in Justin Baldoni's lawsuit, he accuses Ryan Reynolds. I believe in due process, which is why I always read the facts of the case before accepting the media narrative. That they were plotting with the New York Times for months to smear him. And there may be some important evidence, but they believed her narrative instantly because the allegations were so strong. And I just kind of held fire because I don't trust the New York Times to save my life. Well, she filed a civil rights complaint in Los Angeles. Then within 24 hours, the New York Times had the scoop. They published the complaint in its entirety, and it looked suspicious.
Y'all, Hollywood is shaking right now because Candace Owens is coming for the A-list elite, and she's not holding back. You already know when Candace speaks, she speaks her mind, and let's just say, some of your favorite celebrities are not happy about it. From woke hypocrisy to performative activism, Candace has been pulling back the curtain on Hollywood's biggest stars. And trust me, after this deep dive, you'll never look at your favorite actors the same way again. Is Hollywood really all about glitz and glam, or is there something much darker lurking behind the scenes? Stay tuned because we're exposing all the tea.
Or sue me, Ryan Reynolds. Okay, I don't want to be involved in all the drama. I'm just telling my audience what I was told. He goes into Blake Lively's trailer and they have an argument. And all of the production assistants overheard the argument, okay? Now, what was at the root of that argument, we don't know, but we can assume it had something to do with what he saw in these dailies, what he read in the script. Who even knows what led him to even visit on...
What was great about Deadpool is they covered up his handsome face because he's so distracting. He must know this. But it's so distracting to look at him, and guys don't want to laugh at.
No show today. We're working on our Macron piece, but I've received some interesting, very information for those of us who are interested in the Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively debacle. Now, I got to tell you, a lot of times when political commentators get in on these sort of pop culture stories, it's always to like be on the right side of like, see, this is why the other side's bad. What I'm going to say is that stories like this are really apolitical, right? It's more cultural. It's obviously the entertainment story. We all know Blake Lively, and we've got our sort of so much information that we've read so far about the court cases and whatnot. But let's just resist any attempts by anybody to see, this is why you can't believe women, or see, this is why men are the worst, or you shouldn't be. It's like, look, we're not going to have that conversation. We're going to only judge this case on the merits of this case and none other, right? All right, so let's move it on. Yesterday, I received a tip from someone who allegedly worked on the set of It Ends With Us. Lately, everyone is bashing Blake Lively, but apparently the true villain in this saga is Ryan Reynolds. Now,
let's get into it. Candace Owens has been dragging Hollywood like it's Fashion Week, and some of the biggest names in the industry have felt her wrath. First up, we have the celebrities who love to preach about social justice until it actually affects them. You've got actors making millions off action movies telling you not to own a gun. Singers flying private jets across the world lecturing you about climate change. And don't even get me started on the ones posting BLM while living in gated communities that keep out the very people they claim to support. Candace is calling out all the double standards, and Hollywood is not ready for it. She's put stars on blast for their fake activism, their hypocritical political takes, and their desperate need for validation from the woke mob. And let's be real, if anyone's gonna say what we're all thinking, it's gonna be Candace.
And I promise I'm done. So I decided to take some time to actually deeply read through Justin Baldoni's lawsuit against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. And it just further cemented everything that I had found out, and realizing that everything we're reading, it's not a lawsuit. I want you guys to know that we are not observing publicly back and forth a lawsuit. What we are observing is essentially a ticking time bomb, a timer on Ryan Reynolds' ego. This is the entire thing is being driven by Ryan Reynolds. This is not even, before I was like, this is like Blake Lively trying to Me Too. My viewpoint is Blake Lively has nothing to do with what is happening. Her husband has come undone. And there's so much that I want to say here because I'm very disturbed by it. Like, first and foremost, what's now becoming very clear to me is that Blake Lively developed some feelings for Justin Baldoni on set. Has happened to her. She has, been in love with Penn Badgley from, Gossip Girl. Then she got with Ryan Reynolds. All these people, they're on set, and their job is to sell that they're falling in love. And a lot of times, as we see with actors and actresses, it actually happens. And there's no question in my mind that Blake Lively caught real feelings for Justin Baldoni. That comes across when you read his filings and you see how easily he disputes all of her narratives. And the thing is why I say this is not a real lawsuit, and Ryan Reynolds knows this, is because he's got everything on camera.
Filed a letter of intent with Judge Lyman. Judge Lyman is handling both of the federal cases, his against her and him and her publicist, and theirs against him, his producing partner, his production company, his publicist, his crisis PR expert, a lot of players here. The letter that Leslie Sloan, her rep, sent the judge was short and sweet. It was a letter of intent. It said in this one key sentence, defendants, Miss Sloan and Vision PR Incorporated, intend to move to dismiss plaintiff's complaint. That was yesterday. I told you today. And also today, their lawyers have filed a similar motion.
Okay, this is where things get real spicy. You already know Hollywood loves a good cancellation, but what happens when someone refuses to back down? Enter Candace Owens. The elites have tried to cancel her multiple times, but she just keeps coming back stronger. When she clapped back at Cardi B's political takes, the internet went wild when she took on Harry Styles' Vogue cover. Hollywood's fashion police nearly passed out. And don't even get me started on the time she went after Lizzo's so-called body positivity movement. Candace is the kryptonite to Hollywood's echo chamber, and she's making enemies left and right. But the real question is, why are they so scared of her?
This person is alleging that everything started when Ryan Reynolds decided to stroll onto the movie set one day and review the dailies. This is an industry term for all the footage that they filmed for that day. I learned this 5 minutes ago. Now, we've talked about dailies all the time. Blake Lively actually wanted to get the full dailies when she was on her other movie. Maybe that was in between filming. I'm not really sure. Was it during the strike? I'm not sure. But it's a new twist to think, wow, could you imagine if you're the jealous type and your partner's filming a movie with a hot young guy, and you start looking at the footage? If you're like an anxiously attached person or a jealous person, that would be horrifying to put yourself and subject yourself to that, if this is true. He then, Ryan Reynolds, decided to take a look at the script. In between the two, something allegedly set him off. This person claims, and I cannot verify, that the production assistants then overheard Ryan and Blake having an argument in her trailer.
Now, let's go even deeper. Hollywood isn't just about flashing lights and million-dollar paychecks. It's got a dark underbelly that they really don't want you to see. And guess who's been shining a spotlight on it? Yeah, Candace Owens. She's been vocal about the industry's shady treatment of child stars, the creepy agendas being pushed in kids' entertainment, and the way Hollywood profits off social division. And let's not forget the endless scandals that get swept under the rug faster than you can say damage control. Candace is making it clear, Hollywood isn't the moral compass it pretends to be. In fact, some of the biggest stars might just be the biggest frauds.
Okay, there's even one part of the lawsuit where he says, like, this whole idea is like a sexual harassment. She invited him to her penthouse and like he was holding her baby. Like, the guy that sexually harassed, you're not having him to your house and letting him hold your kids. Like, this is 10 times worse than the Amber Heard lawsuit. It will be 10 times worse for Blake Lively if she is meant to hit this stand. And what alarms me, and this is quite ironic, it's like a dark irony here, is this film is about domestic abuse. What is happening now, in my view, is Ryan Reynolds is now abusing his wife. This is like litigation abuse. He is trying to inflict pain. Again, this is my perspective, pain and punishment, because he has come undone, realizing that she had some sort of like an emotional affair with Justin Baldoni. I mean, the way this lawsuit describes is like they were riding into the night together. She was like laughing until she was crying. And again, he's got this on camera, the way that he just dropped that scene on camera. So Ryan knows that there is videographic evidence, that there's photographic evidence, that basically everything that's being claimed here is easily disputed. Like, I haven't read such an open and shut lawsuit since I read and reviewed on my show before it was popular, and I was like, Diddy's gonna get arrested because this person is not just filing a meaningless lawsuit, he's got photographic and video evidence. And like I said, I sensed it in Brian Friedman's language. And the fact that Ryan is now trying to get a gag order as opposed to ending the lawsuit means that he has not yet come to terms with his ego. That's scary. That's narcissism, right? Like that is not a relationship you want to be in, because he's basically saying, I will burn down my entire house. I will burn down your career, and I will burn down my career, and I will also inflict pain upon our children who are gonna, like, this is public, right? All for the sake of what? He can't win it. This is an unwinnable lawsuit. The biggest loser in all this, by the way, is the New York Times. Like, how stupid. I mean, it must have been a phone call. They have to settle this. There's no way.
Listen, Hollywood hates being called out, and right now, they're scrambling. They've tried to ignore her, they've tried to smear her. But no matter what, Candace is still out here dragging them for filth.
Some celebs have even taken shots at her directly because, let's be honest, nothing terrifies them more than an outspoken woman who doesn't play by their rules. But every time they try to cancel her, her platform just gets bigger.
And the irony, the more they try to silence her, the more she proves her point. Hollywood doesn't want real conversations. They want obedience. And Candace, yeah, she's never been the obedient type.
If you look at that URL, look at the date on that. 12/16/2024, the New York Times saved this image 4 days before they published the piece. Can you explain why the URL data points to the fact that this was saved under this title on the 16th? That's a problem, my friends, and I cannot believe it. And I am telling you, I have not seen a case so open and shut in my life. And the more that I read and the more details that I get into, I'm just shocked at how many lies were told, okay? This is about that narrative that I think they instantly started spinning. I believe that they are going to be able to prove in court that this was personal.
We've got evidence that the publicist was planting stories about him. He's got receipts. That was an exclusive of mine earlier, but I have no idea on what grounds these two and their mediocre lawyers are going to attempt to dismiss his lawsuit.
Meets Tim Miller. Deadpool director Tim Miller reveals surprising, and again, Tim Miller, like Justin Baldoni, was a director of a film called Deadpool. It was the original Deadpool film in which Ryan Reynolds was cast as the lead role and given a producer credit. You'll never guess what happened. Despite Miller's significant contribution to Deadpool's success, he left the franchise due to creative differences with Ryan Reynolds, who played the lead role and produced the movie. Our neighborhood psychopath pushed him out of the movie. It's Ryan, he's the villain. I'm suddenly so nervous for Blake. This is like a clinical pattern of behavior.
So, what have we learned today? Hollywood loves to pretend it's all about inclusion, diversity, and activism, but Candace Owens is out here showing us the real story. From fake wokeness to insane double standards, she's been exposing it all, and the elites are shaking. But this raises the bigger question: why does Hollywood hate independent thinkers so much? And more importantly, why do they need you to fall in line? Let me know what you think in the comments. Is Candace speaking facts, or is she just stirring the pot? Either way, this story is far from over. Stay tuned, because Hollywood's secrets, they're only just starting to unravel.